Back to do another YouTube video. It's your boy Orion J. Today we're gonna react to how Dean Ambrose can change WWE forever. We're gonna react to how Dean Ambrose can change WWE forever. Let's get right into the video. What in the world?
Dean Ambrose walking through the curtain again in WWE wouldn't just be a return, it would be a seismic shift in a company already teetering on the edge of chaos. In a landscape dominated by betrayal, ego, and broken alliances, Ambrose's re-entry would detonate like a pipe bomb thrown into an already burning inferno. The current narrative boiling over between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk has turned WWE into an emotional battlefield, where loyalty is rare and redemption is even rarer. But Ambrose's presence has always operated outside of those rules. He doesn't return to heal wounds or mend fences. He returns to burn what's left and build something new from the ashes. And in doing so, he could transform WWE forever. At this moment, the entire promotion is embroiled in a three-headed war. Seth Rollins has forsaken every bond he once held sacred to align with Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns, having lost everything he once ruled, has now reverted to his most primal self, embracing violence to reassert dominance. CM Punk, wounded yet unrelenting, fights not only for respect but for survival in a system that once exiled him. Into this madness steps a man who walked away from WWE at its most sanitized.
You guys think Dean Ambrose should come back to the company?
Who left behind the corporate scripts and returned to wrestling's grimy roots elsewhere. His return would symbolize not just a homecoming, but an outright rebellion against the status quo, injecting unpredictability and authenticity into a product that has grown dangerously performative. Ambrose left as a disillusioned cog in the WWE machine, and he'd return not as a savior, but as a warning. He doesn't wear suits like Rollins, he doesn't stand still and demand acknowledgement like Reigns, and he doesn't fight from a soapbox like Punk. Ambrose fights because that's the only
Ambrose is a brawler, and he does whatever it takes. He reminds me of a Mick Foley. I mean, of course he's not Mick Foley, but he reminds me of one. He's just like a daredevil, you know. He just takes all the risk, like Jeff Hardy. I'm just gonna name different. But yeah, let's get right into the video.
thing he knows how to do. Bringing that energy into today's WWE could force the company to confront everything it has glossed over in recent years. The plasticity of its characters, the hollowness of its monologues, and the soullessness of its direction under the corporate vision of the TKO merger. While Rollins turned, Reigns snapped, and Punk seethed, Ambrose could explode, and in doing so, he might reset the industry. There is unfinished business with all three of them. With Rollins, there's betrayal that predates even Paul Heyman's interference. Their Shield brotherhood fractured not because they grew apart, but because they were always destined to explode. When Rollins turned on the Shield in 2014, it was Ambrose who wore the scars the longest, never forgetting the knife in his back. Rollins may claim he has evolved into a visionary, but that doesn't erase the pain he left behind. Ambrose has always been the conscience of their trio, the one who never truly made peace.
You guys name y'all favorite Shield members in the comments.
With how it all ended. A confrontation now wouldn't just be about revenge, it would be a reckoning years in the making. And unlike Punk's cerebral mind games or Reigns' brute force, Ambrose wages war with chaos. In a WWE universe spiraling into corruption and deception, that chaos could become a cleansing fire. With Reigns, the animosity is buried deeper. Ambrose never bowed to the tribal chief narrative. He never acknowledged the ego that Reigns has grown into. If anything, he was the first to reject the idea that Reigns deserved to be worshipped. Back then, the WWE machine tried to sell Reigns as a superhero, and Ambrose stood by, watching his real-life friend get warped into a marketing vehicle. Now that the mask is off, and Reigns has become a paranoid tyrant, Ambrose returning would shatter the delusion even further. He would be the one man—
And we can get the Shield maybe again, if they want to go with that direction, if he does come back.
And Reigns couldn't manipulate, couldn't intimidate, and certainly couldn't silence. If Reigns' story is about domination, Ambrose's would be about demolition, and that philosophical clash would rip apart the foundation of everything WWE has built its modern era on. As for Punk, the connection is more volatile than personal. They never truly trusted each other, but they always understood one another. Punk represented the first voice of dissent, the first to rebel against the WWE system. Ambrose, however, didn't just rebel, he abandoned it. That makes him more dangerous. Punk still plays within the rules, even if he hates them. Ambrose burns the rule book. Punk wants to change WWE from within. Ambrose might want to destroy it altogether and rebuild it on his own terms. And that contrast creates the most combustible pairing possible. Punk stands for calculated disruption. Ambrose embodies unpredictable anarchy. In a match, in a promo, in a parking lot brawl, it doesn't matter where or how they clash, only that when they do, the fallout will be unlike anything this generation of fans has seen. But Ambrose wouldn't just be returning to fight old wars. His impact would stretch into every corner of the locker room. His reemergence would signal a seismic cultural shift, proof that someone who left to find his soul in blood-soaked bingo halls and Japanese.
He definitely did leave a little mark in the company of WWE. I mean, I know he probably felt like his last few years, they didn't treat him well.
Death matches can return not as a fallen prodigal son, but as a fully evolved force. He wouldn't need title shots or corporate endorsements to matter. His presence alone would validate the idea that authenticity matters more than presentation. In an era where WWE has turned into a pristine sports entertainment pageant under the TKO merger, Ambrose would drag the product back into the mud, and the fans would love him for it. For younger talent like Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, or even LA Knight, Ambrose becomes more than a rival. He becomes a symbol. He shows that it's possible to break out of WWE's box, thrive elsewhere, and still return on your own terms. That message hits harder than any championship promo. It tells wrestlers who feel stifled or disillusioned that there's life outside the walls, and that if you're good enough, those walls will open again, this time on your terms. He'd be walking proof that the independent spirit isn't dead. It's just been waiting for the right moment to storm the gates. Paul Heyman's grip on the narrative could unravel the moment Ambrose enters the picture. Heyman, who once managed all three Shield members and CM Punk, has now chosen Rollins as his new project. But Ambrose was always the wild card Heyman could never control. His promos aren't rehearsed, his matches aren't polished, his career path isn't logical, and in that unpredictability lies his greatest threat to Heyman's plans. If Rollins is the chess player, Ambrose is the table flipper. If Heyman sees
Seth Rollins, the architect. I got a ARCHITECT. I spelled it right, correct?
to orchestrate a dynasty built on strategy and deception, Ambrose could be the lunatic bomb that tears the entire operation to shreds before the game even begins. Imagine the moment Heyman steps into the ring to cut a victorious promo on behalf of Rollins, only to hear Ambrose's music hit. The crowd explodes, not out of nostalgia, but because they know everything is about to change. Merchandise, ratings, live gate, those things would spike instantly, but more importantly, the stories would change. No more corporate polish, no more manufactured tension. Ambrose doesn't play along, he doesn't deliver slogans or engage.
Yeah, see, he had more creative freedom once he went to AEW. You know, AEW, I guess you can do more in a sense. And I guess he wasn't able to do much as what he intended to want to do in WWE. But am I right or am I wrong?
In backstage politics, he shows up.
I don't watch AEW. I'm a WWE fan.
He fights, he leaves damage, and that behavior is exactly what WWE needs now to feel real again. Fans are tired of storylines being dictated by boardrooms. They crave unpredictability, risk, and stakes that feel raw. Ambrose offers that in spades. He's not just another player in WWE's game. He's the guy who flips the board and walks out through the crowd while security scrambles. In terms of long-term trajectory, Ambrose's return could even redefine what WrestleMania season looks like. Right now, fans have become jaded with predictable Royal Rumble winners, formulaic main events, and cold plan booking. Injecting Ambrose into that structure would break it open. He wouldn't need
to. Yeah, like they made him World Heavyweight Champion, but I guess they're saying that that title reign when he won wasn't really that good.
To win a Rumble or Money in the Bank to headline WrestleMania, his path would be carved through bodies, rivalries, and story-driven violence. He could arrive at Elimination Chamber and set the structure on fire, literally or figuratively. He could attack a champion unprovoked the night after the Rumble and declare war. He doesn't wait in line, and that approach would reintroduce danger to WWE's most sacred calendar slots. Suddenly, everything becomes volatile. And that's when wrestling is at its best. Imagine the optics of Ambrose standing in the same ring as Reigns and Rollins, 10 years removed from their Shield dominance, not as a brother, but as a ghost they both tried to forget. He would not smile, he would not shake hands, he would simply stare at them, barbed wire in his fists, and remind them that family doesn't survive in the real world, it implodes. That visual alone is enough to carry a WrestleMania main event not on nostalgia, but on psychological warfare. Fans wouldn't cheer because they remember the Shield, they'd cheer because they know Ambrose will tear it down. And then there's the potential for something even darker. Ambrose returning doesn't mean he has to stay a hero. In fact, it's better if he doesn't. His descent into madness in AEW and the independent
If he comes back, y'all want him as a heel or a face?
scene has added layers to his character that WWE never explored. If he brings that with him, if he drags his chains, his scars, and his history back through the door, he could be the most dangerous villain WWE has seen in decades. He could start with old enemies like Reigns and Rollins, but then turn on the crowd, the system, the very essence of wrestling storytelling itself. He could become the character who cuts the rope on nostalgia and hangs the future from it. That level of thematic depth has been missing in WWE's sanitized product, and it would leave a mark deeper than any match outcome. The truth is, Dean Ambrose's return isn't just a character arc, it's a philosophical correction. WWE has
Just don't have him like that. You see that gimmick right there? Nah.
lost its way in the glitter and gloss of corporate synergy. It has traded soul for spectacle. And while fans may cheer for familiar faces, what they really crave is truth. Ambrose represents the brutal, bleeding, broken truth that wrestling is supposed to hurt, to shock, to unsettle. That promos should be venom, not monologues. That matches should be wars, not exhibitions. That returns should ignite revolutions, not applause breaks. Dean Ambrose returning to WWE is more than just a dream scenario for nostalgic fans. It represents a critical opportunity for WWE to reconnect with its rawest, most emotionally charged form of storytelling. In the current environment, the company is at a crossroads. The corporate takeover by TKO Holdings has made
A lot of people are coming back to the company.
the product shinier but far less authentic. Superstars are marketed like brands, promos sound like PR statements, and every feud feels like it's built with focused, group-tested language rather than organic tension. Dean Ambrose cuts through all of that. His presence is a reminder that professional wrestling isn't about polish, it's about passion, pain, and chaos. If he were to return, he would instantly make WWE feel dangerous again, and that's something no amount of
Definitely, especially under Triple H's booking and stuff.
billion-dollar TV deals can manufacture. At his core, Dean Ambrose, or Jon Moxley as he's now known, was always the heart of the Shield. He wasn't the chosen one like Roman Reigns, or the architect like Seth Rollins. He was the unpredictable one, the man who could turn a tag match into a brawl, who could make a backstage promo feel like a ticking time bomb. WWE is missing that edge right now. Even with talents like Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, and Gunther rising up the ranks, the company lacks someone whose mere existence injects uncertainty into every segment they touch. Ambrose fills that void better than anyone else could. A major reason Ambrose should return is that his story with WWE feels unfinished. He walked out at a time when creative was at its lowest. Cartoonish storylines, nonsensical heel turns, forced promos. He never got to tell the story he wanted to tell under the WWE banner. He didn't leave on a triumphant note. He left beaten down, frustrated, and drained. Coming back would give him the chance to redefine his WWE legacy on his terms, not the company's. It would be a return not to pick up where he left off, but to overwrite the ending entirely. Instead of being remembered as a burnout casualty of WWE's broken system, he could be remembered as the man who broke the system open. So when that theme hits, whether it's the old siren or something darker, you'll feel the shift. Not because it's a reunion, not
If he does come back, I don't think they'll give him the same theme song.
because it's a surprise, but because somewhere deep down, every fan will know what it means. It means the script is dead, the system is shaking, the stories are about to bleed, and WWE, whether it's ready or not, is about to change forever.
Oh man.
Living with opioid addiction can be
Shut up. Alright, that was how Dean Ambrose can change WWE forever. Subscribe, like, comment. Hold on. I'm gonna just say it again. because we already finished the video. So hold on, stop it right here. We can stop it right here. Alright, that was how Dean Ambrose can change WWE. Hold on, let me slow down real quick. That was how Dean Ambrose can change WWE forever. Subscribe, like, comment. Tell me what you guys want to see next in the comments down below. I got more videos coming. Stay tuned. And yeah, Uriah out.